and welcome back. This is Garima and you are listening to the Garima Avtar Show. In this podcast, I talk to various sports personalities, coaches and experts who are trailblazers in their fields to get answers about how to achieve their goals and become successful in life. Well, in today's episode, I have with me Mira Erda, who is currently a Formula 4 racer. She is also the team principal and driver coach for her own karting team, Erda's Racing. Her journey started at the age of 9 from two-stroke racing at the national level, going on to become a runner-up in the Tyre National Rotax Max Championship in 2012, and also getting podiums in the Asia Max Challenge internationally. Later on, when she turned 14, she shifted into Formula cars. Being the youngest on the grid at that point of time in the FLGB category, she worked up the ladder to win the FLGB National Rookie Champion in the Tyre National Racing Championship in 2016. 2017 was her biggest breakthrough by becoming the first and only female in India to participate in the JK Euro Series, which was one of the highest forms of Formula racing in India at that time. In 2019, she had her first international Formula 4 race in Malaysia, and she managed to win in the women's category, becoming the first Indian female to win internationally in Formula 4 women's category. She's also a Red Bull athlete and the brand ambassador of Gujarat Road Safety Authority. Thanks for joining me, Mira. Great to have you on my show.
Thank you so much for having me, Garima.
So today we will be talking about how to overcome performance fear and anxiety in sports, work, or generally to achieve anything in life. How to go past our mental blocks.
Yeah.
So Mira, athletes, they must go beyond their comfort zone and they should be able to, compete at the highest level, irrespective of any internal or external distractions, or emotional blocks. And when we are under pressure, extreme pressure, and in situations which we think are important, we may perform worse than expected. So this is also known as choking, and it is, I think, typically caused by overly, when one gets overly anxious. So what do you think? I mean, such anxiety can have various kind of outcomes that can be cognitive, it can be physical, behavioral. So, what do you think about this kind of anxiety and how common is it? I mean,
Well, when I say how I have been and dealing with the anxiety part, because let me be honest, in the past 13 years, there's not been a point where I wasn't anxious before my race. It's always been something like, if I have something I want to win or I want to, get my fastest lap times in, it becomes, like I start getting anxious at one point of time thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And it becomes very difficult for me at that point because there's so many competitors when I'm racing with again. And the only thing that really helps me out the most when I'm just about to get into the track is that I just switch off myself from everything around me. I talk to my car, and this has really, really helped me over the past 13 years. When I say that, how do I switch off? It's all about, just make sure the car's okay first, the cars, and I talk to my engineer, I talk to the mechanics, saying that, whatever setup was needed is, I hope it's done and we figure out everything. And then I just sit in my car, I wear my helmets and I get ready. I get them to fit my seatbelts on and make sure everything's fine. And then I just mentally switch off. I don't talk to my parents, I don't talk to my competitors or my teammates, nothing. I just go and sit and meditate, thinking about the racetrack and how I'm gonna get the perfect lap time. I totally imagining it. I just hold the steering wheel and actually use the pedals, gears, everything. And just imagine how the whole track is gonna happen, how I'm gonna do a race start. And it just helps me calm down so much. And there is this one thing that really, really helps me calm down is that I am a very religious person when it comes to racing or in general as well. So I have this small goddess idol that's fixed on my car. You give me any car, I will make sure that it's fixed on my car. on my right side, and I just touch that and I pray to God and just talk to the car, saying that what, let's do this, let's give it 100% and make sure we get our results. And it just takes away all the anxiety that I have and all the questions that I might have at that point of time. So this is one thing that has really helped me in the years to deal with my anxiety when I'm going into a race.
No, definitely. There are two kinds of fear actually. One is rational fear and one is irrational fear. And rational fear is the kind of fear which is related to, being hurt or, facing a situation where it is possible to get hurt. And irrational fear stems out of anxiety and is more about looking bad or feeling embarrassed. And many sports people do not know how to deal with fear. They love what they do, but they struggle to perform at the highest level, and they generate much anxiety as a result. But there are a lot of methods and ways to deal and overcome this rational fear. So definitely we have such high expectations, from our peer, our coaches, our fans, and and generally sports people are naturally competitive. So I mean, there are so many external factors. So what are the ways? What do you think about this? I mean, I think the first, I mean, it's important to, when you said, you visualize when you sit in the car, your Formula car, you kind of switch off and you try to stay calm and kind of get into the zone. So what else do you do? But besides that,
there are quite a few things that I try to do it. See, it depends on every situation. And I have been a person who always believes that if you're calm in your head, I think everything else will just work out automatically. So there was this one race that I really wanted to win in 2017. It was my, no, sorry, 2016. It was my rookie championship that you mentioned about. And so I'm always reading a book, okay? And there's just, trying to prepare yourself, saying that you are going to win this, or, you have to do this. It just puts you in a situation where you have expectations from your own self, which sometimes, makes you do mistakes when you're on the racetrack. So instead, what I used to do was I used to read a book, and on top of every page, I will write that I have won the championship. I have got my goal. I have achieved my goal. So it's like talking after. It's in like I have already achieved this thing. And that really helped me because it was the first time that I had really tried something like this. And just writing it down made it permanent for me. That, okay, now this has already happened. And, it was a night before. So I was writing down and just preparing myself. The next day, what I did was, before going into the race, I was really stressed out because I had to make a few overtakes to make sure that I win that championship. And if I didn't make those overtakes, I would have lost it. And it was such a high pressure time for me because it was my first ever point where I was winning a championship. And I just had to do it. So what I did was I sat down in a corner and I started reading the book. That book itself was a motivational book where I had, it was mentioning about how you can believe in yourself and what you need to do. And on top of that, whatever I had written was making me calm myself down, saying that this has already been done, this has already been achieved. So when I got into the car, I was just, I knew I had it under control. So this is one thing that I have seen a lot of other people do, and I also tell, I also tell my own students right now. Exactly, I tell my own students to do that as well now. They don't really have to read a motivational book. They can read whatever they want, or they can just write it in a plain paper and just believe in it. Just write it down and make sure that you believe in it. And automatically your mind will work when you're racing. In not just racing, in whatever you're doing, when you're performing something. If you have belief in yourself and something that you have written it down, it will just automatically, your brain will work to achieve that, and it will push you out of your comfort zone without you even realizing it. So that is one thing that I tried my hands at and actually worked. So I keep trying it now. Every time there's a situation where I might need to write it down, I just do it and it helps me out a lot.
Great. So, yeah, I mean, definitely to ease out that pressure, I mean, that pressure of performing, the expectations, meeting the expectations. So, I think another way which I can think of, imagining the worst possible outcome. What will happen? You may just, if you end up losing, what will happen? I mean, nothing, the sky won't fall. I mean, and, see, so if you just tend to reconcile with that little thing that what happens if you lose. I mean, the sky is not going to fall, nothing. I mean, so that point of worrying,
Not the end of the world.
yeah, because see, risks are always involved when participating in sports or anything in life, but we must be able to perform at our best and not think about failing. But I think if we focus too much about on failing, then it diverts our focus and it restricts our
That's true.
yeah. And by facing that fear, by knowing that we can deal with that outcome, it just makes us feel less burdened and feel little light. And definitely we have to visualize positive outcomes. I mean, as you said, we definitely have to visualize successful outcome, and this is a technique definitely that communicates to the unconscious mind, and that is how it helps us achieve what we want. So visualization techniques definitely are very, 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 very strong and very, very powerful. And we definitely have to manifest positive images and of ourselves winning or succeeding in our goals. And also, I think we have to learn deep relaxation techniques to control these thoughts, because we can also be self sabotaging, so it is that can be a big mental block, if say if we desperately want to win, but I may be subconsciously self sabotaging my own efforts. We may miss out on training sessions, eat the wrong foods, or I may just talk myself out of entering. So, and this happens because one is consumed with fear. So, yeah, definitely. So, deep relaxation techniques also really helps. And what else? I think, what else do you think? I mean, I think failure and successes are just two flip sides of the same coin. And failure, I think if we consider it as a means to improving ourselves, with this attitude also, I think the fear dissipates. It's all about
yeah, I totally agree with
it as a learning curve. It's failure can become a pivotal moment in which to improve and change. So, and I think what you said, you like to write it down. I think also if we have any fears, it's also it can really help to make a list of the fears that we have, and write them down and examine them and face them. And and these
so there's this. So when you talk about failures, and when you were talking right now, it just made me go back to my race that happened this year in the beginning. I was so everything is working out really well for me. My teammates made sure that there is no competition. Nobody's attacking us from the behind. We had a proper team strategy, and there was one guy who was already making sure nobody is there to attack the front guys. It was me and one more competitor of mine, and we both were just having a very peaceful competition, and we had created a huge gap between us and the other competitors in the back. And somewhere in my head, unconsciously, I was very scared. And I was like, something is gonna happen and something is gonna go wrong. This is too easy to win, this is too easy, whatever's happening. I don't really like this. And even though I was having a very, peaceful battle with him, in the end, what happened was my unconscious whatever I was thinking attracted the negativity towards it, and just one small mistake of mine, I messed up my whole race. I was second. I spun around while competing with another driver, and I just locked up basically. just a bit more pressure on my brakes and I locked up. And I lost my second position so easily. And that's when I came out and I realized that, even though we are present into the moment, but our unconscious mind sometimes attracts all those negative vibes, which
Yeah.
really affects our performance, and things just go out of control right away. So that after that race, I realized and I decided that I cannot enter into a race thinking any negative thoughts, and I have to train my unconscious mind now that no matter what, you need to control all those negative thoughts while you're onto the racetrack and while you're performing something. So now what I've been doing is I'm just meditating at home at times whenever I feel that something doesn't feel right, or when I start doubting myself. I start to train my unconscious mind about just by thinking all the positives that I could have done, all the good overtakes that I could have done, or some just imagining things that it won't happen. I won't let it happen, and if it happens, how am I gonna correct that mistake right away, and how am I gonna be even more alert while I'm doing something or while I'm on the racetrack, and how I need to just be alert in what how I can recorrect it while on the racetrack. And
Absolutely.
and then that just that's helping me so much more. Even unconsciously, I'm confident in myself now. In just past few months after the race, I just trained myself like this, and I really hope that when I get a chance to go back on the racetrack, all this meditation and all those just even not just meditating while I'm working as well, just moving around, working out, or just driving on the simulator. I am consciously, training myself that this can't happen again.
You're mindful
And,
of your
and
activities. Yeah.
yes, and it's just helping me out a lot in whatever I'm doing. Everywhere, I'm just a bit more confident in, and believing in myself that, okay, this is under my control and I can deal if something comes up right away. So, yeah, that is one thing that really, happens with a lot of players, athletes, and even work wise, in work life as well, it happens. Unconsciously, we attract a lot of negative things, and that is what we need to stop.
Yeah, this is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, definitely these techniques and methods, they have to be practiced again and again, and they have to become a part of our subconscious, and instinctively they have to come. So, we have to constantly do that, positive self-talk, because that's how, that what defines us. And but talking
Yes,
about
exactly.
also stresses and all the stuff, there are besides the general stress disorder, there are other stresses, which is like depression or something, and also obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, that can also happen, because sports person becomes so obsessed with their routines, and they must do certain things certain way, because if not, then they become stressed. It can literally consume all their thoughts until this action is corrected, come in the zone. But it's
Yes,
also, I think it's important to balance it out, so that it
exactly.
doesn't become a disorder. It doesn't stresses one out. Yeah.
Yes. So, talking about what you just mentioned right now, I do have my own routine before a race weekend, and even during the race weekend, about how I wake up and what I do next. How do I mentally talk to myself before I'm getting ready, or having breakfast with my friends, and then going to the track, and then just sitting in the car. All that is a routine, but sometimes if I feel like doing something other than that, I let myself do it during the day. If I feel that, okay, I don't want to meditate in the morning before going to the racetrack, I let myself do that. Because
Yeah.
just forcing yourself to, follow a routine every day during a race, it becomes boring after a point of time. And it, mentally, all of that also affects you somewhere.
Yeah,
And it
one
just
has to balance
doesn't make
out
you
actually,
push
and make it
on.
more fun. Make it more
Yes,
fun. So, it's
exactly,
important to
exactly.
calm oneself down, and, consider all this as one, enjoy the process. I mean, I think it's so important to have fun and enjoy the process. Yeah, because human
Yes.
condition is very
So what
complex.
I do when I Yeah. It's very complicated. I know it because, I am a person who doesn't like following the same thing, doing the same thing again and again. I get very bored very quickly. So to avoid all of those situations, sometimes if I feel that okay, I'm just too stressed before a race while going to the racetrack, I talk to my friends. I talk about nothing that is related to racing at that time.
Yeah.
I just try to relax myself.
Yeah, so I think
Or
there are
sometimes, even
sorry,
food
go ahead, go
matters.
ahead.
It's
Yeah,
like you craving something. If you're craving, no. So if you're craving something, I feel that okay, in the morning I want to eat waffles, and it's not in my routine that okay, I can't eat waffles as an athlete before my race. I'm just like okay, one day if I'm craving something so bad, I have to let it, just a bit of it, so that while I'm on the racetrack, it doesn't become a distraction for me. Because as a human being, and as a person who loves food, I think that can become a distraction as well. So something that whatever you feel that okay, this can be a distraction on the racetrack, you let that do. Work out for once in a while during in between your routine, and just enjoy it. Just relax. It's not compulsory to follow a routine. It's all about how you quickly change something in it and make it work for yourself, so that you are calm and you don't feel out of control.
totally. You know how someone responds to a stressful situation, it can, make a huge difference to the outcome. And it's important to calm oneself down. Discipline is important, but it's also important to have fun, also, and relax completely, because, stress is common in everyday life, and it is impossible to avoid. Stress, and especially for sports people, there can be additional stressors, and so we need to balance our lives, and including up practice sessions, there are so many competition pressures, and of course then we have to live life on a daily basis. So I think all that has to be in great balance. So yeah, I mean, thanks so much, this was amazing, Mira. Let's come to the rapid fire questions now. Are you ready for that?
I am very bad at rapid fire questions, but I will try my best.
Okay, sure. Let's start. Okay. So, what's the
Yes.
best piece of advice that somebody has ever given to you?
Enjoy the moment, whatever you do, whatever you're doing, just enjoy it. And that's what my dad has told me. As a child, when I started winning races and then I had to shift into Formula cars from go-kart, and things didn't work out my way, and I started questioning myself that I don't want to do this. Am I meant for this? And then my dad could see that I'm stressing out even more when I just need to relax and enjoy what I'm doing in the moment. So he just told me, Mira, relax. There's no pressure. You just go do what you enjoy, and that is racing. Be on the racetrack, enjoy whatever you feel like, and just be happy. If you're happy,
Yeah.
everything else will just work out. So that's a
Absolutely.
piece of advice that has stuck with me. And in whatever I'm doing, even when I'm coaching right now to my students, they are very young. So, they are super hyper, and I start stressing out when they make small mistakes on the track. And then I'm just like, just doing everything that I can. But at the same time, I realize that, okay, I need to calm down. I need to enjoy and, not let all that stress show it to my students that, okay, she's stressed, then they are going to be stressed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
instead, we just enjoy as a group, and I make them enjoy as well, so that on the racetrack they do the same thing. So yeah, that piece of advice I think works for everyone out there. Whatever you do, just enjoy it.
Totally, totally. Okay, next question
Yeah.
is how much time do you spend practicing?
Just a few days before the racetrack or before the race, like let's say like 2-3 days before the race. Yeah.
Okay, what do you do to keep yourself motivated?
Just remember all my races and how badly I want to get back on the racetrack every time.
Who's your inspiration or role models, and why?
My dad, because he works super hard to make sure I'm on the racetrack, so that keeps me going.
Documentary film that inspired you the most?
There's a lot. I mean, I can't really just pick point one, and I'm also not a movie person, so I'm not sure which one to select.
Yeah, I meant a documentary film, any kind of a film of an athlete or any documentary film that inspired you the most.
There's all the ones that has racing. I think something or the other I just learned from it. And as I mentioned, I'm not a movie person, or just I don't watch videos so much. So
Sure,
yeah.
sure. One
Okay.
superpower you wish you had.
To get into the heads of my competitors and know their weak points and what they're scared of, and use it for my advantage.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Adventurous, fun-loving person, and determined.
Your go-to workout.
Everything you give, I love it. But I think TRX workouts are really something that I.
What is one thing that annoys you the most?
My competitors, they sometimes get a little bit overconfident when they are competing against me, thinking I'm weak, and that just annoys me too much. And yeah, and then I love pushing them out of their comfort zone when I'm racing and showing them what I can.
The best thing about racing.
See,
What song pumps you up for a big race?
I don't listen to music at all. Just enjoying whatever I'm doing at the racetrack. That pumps me up a lot. No music needed. I'm not a music person.
Any personal motto?
Don't give up. Believe in yourself.
One hidden talent.
No hidden talent. It's all out there for people to see. I don't have to hide anything.
Cool. If you could trade lives with anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
A lot of people. I would say Max, because I really want to know how he deals with such stressful situations. Like Formula One right now, he's a world champion, and
Max
oh my God, he's
Verstappen.
performing so well. Yes, so yeah, Max Verstappen for sure.
Okay. Best race memory?
My race win in 2012.
What happened in that?
I had to start last. It was my first time that I started last, and I won the race with a huge lead. I had overtaken around 14 drivers in just 3 laps.
Amazing. Most embarrassing moment?
Oh, embarrassing moments. I don't remember. I have no idea how many embarrassing moments I've had. But yeah, okay, I remember now. It's a very current one. It doesn't really, it's not a big one. But I, as a coach, and not just as a coach, but as a person, I'm always so dressed up, and I'm always like tip top whenever I'm on the racetrack as well. And it was raining in Bangalore during my team's race, and I was fully drenched in water, and I looked so bad. People took pictures of me saying, "Oh my God, Mira, this is not you at all." So I had to pose like that, drenched in water. I looked homeless, to be honest, and that is one embarrassing moment that I remember, like from the current nearby days.
Okay, cool. What's your proudest accomplishment so far?
Just being able to race for so long, coming from a middle class family, I think to continuously race at the highest levels of motorsports in India currently, and being able to actually get my performance out there and getting the results is something that I'm really proud of.
What do you do to keep yourself motivated?
I have a list of goals that I have to achieve in the next few years, and I keep looking at them every time I feel like, okay, I don't feel good about myself, I go look at it. And in general also, just looking at the list keeps me motivated.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mira. And with this, we come to the end of this show. Thank you, Mira, for joining me in this wonderful, amazing episode. And thank you all for listening to today's episode with your host, Garima Avtar. If you like this episode, then subscribe to my podcast for more new episodes and a deeper dive into the world of motivation and winning psychology. See you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.
Is it okay? laptop was a problem for me. Is it working for you? No? Okay, just a sec. Yeah, now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just switch it off then.
That's better.
Okay. Oops.
All set?
Yes, also.
Training, upcoming talent, and
Yeah.
that's amazing. Super.
I really hope they perform it well.
And thanks so much for connecting. It was great, really nice to have you on my show.
Same here, and I'll just forward you the links. And I was in such a hurry that I forgot, but I'll forward them to you now.
Take
Done.
care.
Done.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Bye.